Welcome to this mentoring series named Margdarshika, organized by ICI Ahmedabad. I would like to request all of you to please rise for an ICI motto.
य एष सुप्तेषु जागृति य एष सुप्तेषु जागृति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रदब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैत 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 एतद्द्वैत
Thank you so much. I again welcome you to this unique initiative, this unique series, Margdarshika, where the mentors who are expert in particular field will guide you how to start your career in that particular field, how to carry on with your personal as well as professional lives in that particular field. This unique initiative has been uh, uh, first step for Ahmedabad branch of ICI. After you have been a chartered accountant, after you have passed your chartered accountancy exam. So this series is being actively mentored by CF Anil Shah sir, chairman of the branch. Now I would like to request CF Anil Shah sir to please guide the students through his words of wisdom.
Hi friends, on behalf of Ahmedabad branch of WRC of ICEI, it gives me an immense pleasure to welcome the speaker who is going to be the mentor to guide us. Also, Mr. Jaiprakash Motwani, Vice Chairman of Vikasa Ahmedabad, and other coordinators who actively played a very pivotal role in managing this mentoring series named Margdarshika. Friends, at the outset, I would like to congratulate you all on clearing your chartered accountancy examination. And now you are from a CA student, now you are a CA member. And I'm very happy to see all of you CA students entering a profession as a CA member. And also, I'm very happy that we felicitated you soon after your examination in order to be a part in your celebration as becoming a chartered accountant. But friends, our journey, your journey with branch does not just end by celebrating the success, but the helping hand of branch is always there to guide you whenever needed. And when I met you all during this felicitation function, you all were asking various questions. That is, sir, whether we should go for job or we go for practice. If we go for job, sir, whether we should go in CA firm or we go into an industry. Sir, if we go in CA firm, whether we should go in a CA firm who is into domestic practice or we should go in big fours. So all this plenty of questions were there. If you were to venture into practice, whether to venture into indirect tax, into direct tax, which are the opportunities in the times to come. So all this plethora of questions were there. And at that point of time, if you remember, I told that we will have a mentoring series. And yes, friends, this is the time has came where you are virtually going to attend various mentoring sessions. And I am confident that it is going to help you to decide the right course for your CA profession to come in the future times. Friends, we have so learned mentor speakers with us that they will guide you from A to Z in a brief so that you get an overview and then you can dive more into that. And apart from that, friends, I can say that ultimately the mentors are going to guide you that in whichever field you want to go, how you enter, how you make your entry in that particular field. Then for a time you enter, you try to survive in that field, and then later on strategies by which you can grow in that particular field. And also we are going to have sessions like, if I want to pursue for IIM after CA, what to be done? Are there any professional degrees, domestic and overseas, which I can do after becoming a CA so that it gives me an edge when I compare to my other chartered accountant friends? So this is the ultimate purpose of this Margdarshika mentoring series, and I hope that it turns out to be a fruitful asset you invest in watching this video. I hope that this video, the mentoring given by respected learned members and faculties, turn out to be a ray of hope and clarity in the darkness of doubts to come. I wish you best of luck, and again I congratulate on clearing your chartered accountancy examination, and God bless you all, and may success be a journey and not just a destination. God bless you.
Thank you, Fanil sir, for your kind words. Now, today's session is very interesting as it is on the topic regarding Big Fours. As we started our CA curriculum journey, once in a while, every student had a thought of trying in a Big Four, whether it would be in articleship or after qualifying the chartered accountancy exams. So today we have with us CA Jaimin Panchal, who is Associate Director in KPMG, who is heading CFO advisory practice for Gujarat, and has domain expertise in IFRS, Ind AS, and GAAPs. He has diverse experience in industries like pharmaceuticals, FMCA, telecom industries, and chemical industries. Talking about his qualifications, he is a chartered accountant. He is a US CFA, and he has also achieved diploma in IFRS. Apart from his professional qualification, he is a sportsman. He has participated in various marathons and has achieved a title of Ironman 70.3. And for guiding you regarding Big Fours, no one can guide you better than CA Jaimin Panchal sir, as he has a rich experience of 10 years in Big Fours. Yes, Jaimin sir, over to you now.
Thank you very much, Jai, for a very good introduction, and thank you, Fanil, CA Fanil, our chairman at Ahmedabad branch, for giving me this opportunity to really talk to you all, the new chartered accountants, and I start with congratulating you for, getting through the CA, and now the sea is open, the sky is open for all the opportunities, and look at it. Today is a Sunday morning, and we are talking about a very interesting topic. And always, wherever we interact with students or who are passed out from the chartered accountancy curriculum, they always talk about this, that whether to choose industry, whether to go for practice, whether to join Big Four companies, whether to join some other firms. What is the better and best career option for a person who is a chartered accountant? And that's the subject on which we are going to talk about. And the subject is the mindset for job in Big Four. Now, over next few minutes that we are going to discuss and talk about this topic, I will divide the entire interaction into four major parts. One is to give you a brief on what is Big Four, and I want to really clarify certain aspects about Big Four. Second is what is required from a person, or I would say that if a person, a chartered accountant, a new chartered accountant, is doing a self-assessment for himself, then what are the key attributes a person is really required to look into it. Then based on that, a person really needs to take a decision on whether he should go for a Big Four career or he can choose a separate other career. Third, I will talk about the interview aspects, that how to crack the interview, what are the key aspects around it, what are the different processes a person really needs to go through, and then choose that particular job. So I will talk about the interview related aspects as well, and then we will talk about that what is the way forward for a person who is joined a Big Four. So here I'll start. I'll just present my screen. I have just prepared few slides on that. But before that, let me just talk about what is Big Four. Now, definitely all of you are knowing what is Big Four is all the four big auditing firm or accounting firm or a professional services firm, and the names are very well known. It's KPMG, EY, Deloitte, and uh, the KPMG, Deloitte, EY, and PwC. Uh, in this Big Fours, what all work is actually done? There are n number of services these firms are giving, and major domain service lines are: first is audit. This takes care about all the statutory audit. The second is the tax department. Now it involves both compliances as well as the advisory, and this involves both direct tax as well as indirect tax compliances. A third is the entire advisory and a consulting piece of work that these big fours are doing. Now there are n number of services which are there in terms of advisory or consulting that goes and sit in as a domain service line in all the big fours. One of them is like GRCS, which majorly deals with the internal audit and various other types of process audit, etc., where the risk of the firm or a business is required to be managed in terms of business risk, in terms of all other different types of risk. Then there is a advisory in the technology side, where implementation of various ERP systems are concerned or enhancing various technology. Then there is a proper accounting advisory practice, or I would say that CFO advisory practice, where the entire piece of work that comes where the management require or a finance and account function require a lot of various services from the big four in terms of advising them on various transactions, advising them on accounting side, advising them on their processes, advising them their finance and accounts function, how they really function efficiently, etc. There are transformation service lines also that will give you the entire layout of the clients, where they really transform their current processes in order to go to the next level of processes, where they will bring in a lot of efficiencies and automation in terms of cost efficiency as well as increasing the quality of the work, etc. Now, these are the just gist of some of the services which I have spoken of. But the first and foremost, after becoming chartered accountant, taking a decision whether to join industry or join a big four, etc., you need a thorough research to be done. And all the big four companies' websites are always up and running, and it gives all the details around this. Spend some time, understand it, talk to your mentors, talk to other people who knows about it, and please get a proper information and understanding of the services, and then take a informed decision in future. Now, that's what I talk about. The first is the what is Big Four. The second I will talk about is what are the key attributes that are required in terms of a person choosing a career in a Big Four. I would say that some of the attributes will always be common in terms of we are a chartered accountant, so honesty, integrity, and this all will always be part of it. But apart from that, there is a distinction I would draw here in terms of the way the profile really demands certain attributes from the chartered accountant, in terms of the commitment, in terms of the aptitude to learn new things, to adapt to the new changes, get a get a new perspective towards whatever tasks are given to the person. Working with the big clients, working complex assignments and a complex task, then looking at a any scenario differently and not traditionally the way it has been looked into. The domain technical knowledge where it is tested the most. Then your capability to have a relationship or a networking with your clients in future. Because what happens, a person who is joining a big four today is going to go a ladder, he's stepping up a ladder of his career from executive to the senior executive to the AM to the manager to the associate director and a partner. Now the entire journey here, if you see, is important is how you really network with your client, how you are serving your client, with the best quality services, quality deliverables, and in timely manner. These three are the main pillars. And on top of that is your technical domain knowledge, domain technical knowledge. If I am expert into direct tax, then what is my domain knowledge is the direct taxation. Or within direct taxation, if I'm saying I claim that I am a transfer pricing expert, then yes, for transfer pricing related issues, I am the go-to person for my client, and that is what is required from the from a person who is working from the Big Four by the clients. Uh, some other aspects are more of a professional life or a professional approach. The person really requires in the life in terms of working culture with clients, working culture within the organization, the Big Four company, and then apart from these all attributes is come the growth in terms of financial as well as in terms of the career growth, that whether I have a step by step growth in terms of the promotions that I'm going to get it, as well as from the salary growth standpoint, that whether it is committed and I can envisage myself after 5 years 10 years down the line at this level, at this salary level, and all these all are the attributes one really needs to introspect and self assess before taking a decision that whether I really fit in a Big Four or not. Maybe this is a very early stage to really judge, but at least a thought is should be given to a person that these are the 10 things, 12 things you should always I would say that endeavor to cultivate in yourself, and that will definitely help not only for the Big Four but for all other career options that you are having. So I spoke about what is Big Four, what types of service lines are there in the Big Fours. I spoke of various attributes and the criteria the person really needs to self-assess before taking any decisions to join the Big Four. Now comes is, let's say if you have assessed yourself that okay, I fit in a Big Four, it comes is how to crack the interview. Now let me present my screen. I have made few slides which we can talk through about it, and that will be helpful for you definitely. So these are the four determinant factor for any job. One is the right career of interest that we spoke of, the target profile that also we spoke of, that you really need to understand that what is the job profile, what is expected from you in terms of technical domain knowledge and in terms of all other attributes that it caters to. Then comes the desired company, whether this is the company or this is the Big Four you are really looking for or not. Is it your dream company? Then that is the second criteria. Third is the desired location. Why this location? Here, at least in Gujarat, yeah, I would say that we are a bit hesitant to really open to the location change. But if we are a chartered accountant and there are no personal constraints, I would say that please don't keep any constraints in so far as the location is concerned. It's always good to join a company which is in the metro cities and which gives more exposure in future, so that the third criteria would be desired location, and fourth is of course the salary that goes last in the pyramid, because it is an initial year of yours. You need to really learn a lot. You have to expose to various situation circumstances in terms of your domain knowledge, in terms of your the job profile ask for. It may cater to the job may ask you to travel a lot. That's also a learning. So traveling is also one of the important factor to be considered, and if you love traveling, then I think Big Four is the best to really get into it. Now, having said that, how to get ready for the interview, and to get ready for the interview, what are the key aspects to be considered? The first one is the key objective. Please customize your key objective while you write your CV. Please don't copy paste from your other CA friends. His objective would be different, your objective would be different. If you are choosing an industry, your objective could be different. Choosing a practice is or a Big Four, your objective could definitely be different. Second is what is your current status. That is something which you should always talk about in your CV, that where are you right now. If you have finished your articleship, talk about that in your current status paragraph. if you are working or you have joined working somewhere temporary, you are continuing your the articleship. After articleship, you are continuing the job at your firm with your principal, then please mention those things. That is very important. Next is the relevant work experience. Now this is very important. If you are looking at a statutory audit type of the job profile in a big four, then if you have done statutory audit in your articleship, please keep that first in your CV so far as your job experience is concerned, your articleship experience is concerned, and all other related experiences, like if you have done the return filing, GST filing, or any bookkeeping services, etc., please keep them at a lower end. If you are looking for some industry job where it is more of a advice analyst type of job, where you need to analyze, prepare MIS reports and all, then those type of experience, if you have, then please put that in a priority. The next is the educational and professional qualification. Yes, you have to bring this in your CV. Many of the CVs don't talk about their the SSC and HSC, the 10th and 12th standard education, but I would say that naming the school is also very important in terms of it creates impression in the mind of the reader of the CV, that how his basic education has also been through the entire CA journey that he has already done. Then reference on demand, that this is one of the important aspects, because whenever you go for first or second job, the references are asked or demanded, and provide that once they are demanded. Don't put references upfront that this my principal is there or the XYZ person is there. Please don't put reference at that time. If it is asked for, then put it. While online portal, if you are applying your job on for the big four, etc., at that time the field is always there to put the references. There you can put the references. While writing the entire experience, etc., please don't use the pronouns like I, me, we, etc. It should be that this is done, this is what I have exposed to and all, but not, it should not start with I, me, and we. And then salary expectation is a big no. Please don't write salary expectation in your CV first. And second, whenever you get a call from the HR for the interview, your conversation should more tilting towards understanding the job profile, understanding the job location, the company, understanding of the company, etc. And the last stage, you can ask for the salary expectation. Secondly, once we will talk about how to crack the interview, I will also talk about this briefly, that what do you mean by salary, what you will talk about when it is asked for in terms of the salary expectation. This all will be required to be considered while writing a effective CV. Once you have a CV, you generally put it for a job profile, job portals, or you also give it for the campus interviews, and given to your references, they can pass it on to the vacancies wherever they are. So that's how you can start looking for the job in the market. Now the next slide is how to get ready for the interview. Now these are the 5 fundamental things which I talk about is on the types of interviews. One is a qualifying assessment test. Now this is generally there in terms of big fours. They give you a link online, and then you have to go and take the test in that particular time frame and answer those questions. Now this is just an entry stage. Okay, this just test yourself in terms of do you know basic things in terms of what you have learned in your articleship and in your CA curriculum. It's very easy to pass this type of qualifying assessment test. Once you are through, then if you are in a campus or if it's a mass interviews are going on, then they go for a group discussions. In group discussions, a lot of things are important. One is to putting your point forth and give others to discuss or others to talk also. We are not on a debate mode so far as a group discussion is concerned. Out of my experience, I have seen people are really fighting on the group discussion panel, and they say that this is my point and I'm firm on my point. But That should not be the approach. You have to hear out the other person also, and you have to put forth your point with whatever validating message that you want to really move on. Wherever any arguments come, you may agree or disagree, but it's not always that it should be the fight mode. Many times out of the group discussion, who are the most silent person are getting chosen rather than all those who are shouting on their voice. The once you are done with your qualifying test and a group discussion, then generally the first round of interview comes is the HR round. Now this is generally the HR of the organization. A Big Four really takes this interview. What they really look forward in terms of HR round is, how is your communication skill in English? Second, what is your attribute and attitude towards the job? Do you know the profile? Do you know the Big Four company you are really appearing for the interview? Then to know about your personal aspirations, career growth perspective, and to know about your personal information. If you are through with this HR round, then they will generally put forth your case for the further round of interview, which is the personal interview with your, and that personal interview is a technical interview. Now there will be a different types of technical rounds. Generally the first round of technical interview happens with the manager of the that particular service line. That and there they check whether you are fit for this particular job profile or not, whether you know technical knowledge about this particular job. Like let's say if you are appearing for an interview for a statutory audit, and out of your experience they will ask you various questions in terms of accounting standard, in terms of giving you some scenario, and ask you that what you will do if this is the scenario, how will you do the audit of this particular type of expense, or if that is the technical issue which the client is facing, how you really respond to or create an audit query out of it. And that's where your practical knowledge as well as your technical domain knowledge that you have received from your passing of the exam will be tested, and your readiness to do the analytical or on the spot analysis for the case study given to you within the technical round of interview. Let's say you pass through the technical round of interview with the management, then there will be a second round of technical interview, which is generally with the senior manager or a director. That is also like a brief technical interview. Also, that person try to understand your fitment, your aptitude and attitude towards the job. And if you are through with that, then the last round comes is the partner interview. And in partner interview, again the partner really try to understand and see your honesty, integrity, and whether you really fit for the job or not. If you are through with all your interviews, then you are welcome aboard. Mail will be very soon coming to you. From the salary standpoint, please don't discuss salary expectation until you talk to the HR so far as final round is completed. In between all your technical round of interview, please don't mention about the salary at all, because they will definitely not talk about the salary, because they are not going to have any role to play in terms of determination of the salary so far as the Big Fours are concerned. It's always rest with the HR, because the HR has their salary bands in terms of the way the person is assessed in terms of his experience, prior experience, in terms of his domain knowledge, in terms of the interviews, and basis they will definitely offer you the best salary that fits in their organization. Nowadays, a lot of interviews are happening online, like we are right now online and having a live streaming on YouTube, etc. The Skype interviews are there, the Teams interviews are there, Zoom interviews are there. So please be ready, have a proper network connection, have a proper camera set, have a place where nobody comes and disturb you, because you need to be a constant attentive while listening to the interviewer. And also greeting and smiling is very important during the and a virtual interview as well. The next slide is how to get ready for the interview. Some of the to-do list which I always make as a checklist for the person who are going to appear for the interview. Now this is more from the if you are appearing for a physical interview, but I already spoken, if you are having a virtual interview, then three main aspects you need to consider. If it's a physical interview, then yes, preparation, company's information, technically, you need to really understand the company's profile. Google out the website, Google out any other information, Google out the news that the company is having recently, know the company well. Second is know your CV well, first of all, what you have written in the CV. Many times when I take the interview, sometimes I ask a person that have you done this? He said that yes. And then I dig down further, then he says that no, sir, I have not done this. Then why you have mentioned this in the CV? Right? The first question that comes in the mind of the interviewer is, are you honest? Is there an integrity or not, boss? So please make sure that you know your CV, you write what is relevant, what is correct, and what you have actually done for. Right? Then you should carry a proper attitude and proper attire. Proper attire is very important. Professionalism is something which really is the criteria for big four companies to really look into from the candidate standpoint. So if you are going for a personal interview, please wear a proper blazer with a tie and polish your shoes, have a proper hair tied up and all, and then please go confidently for that interview. Copy of CV and other documents. Please make sure that you have a copy of a CV and all other documents. Generally, they don't ask for. Generally, 99.99% they don't ask for. But out of that 0.1%, they may ask you just to check, are you ready with the documents or not? I have done that in the interview, and if you are not ready, that means that also gives a bad impression in the minds of the interviewer. Well prepared introduction. So whenever you break your ice at the time of starting of the interview, you must be well prepared in terms of your introduction, right? So please be fluent in speaking, show confidence, have eye to eye contact with the interviewer. Don't hesitate or don't be nervous, and then give your proper introduction when it is asked for. You should always do the mock interview. Have a probable questions and answers jotted down. Do a mock interview in front of the mirror. If nobody is there to support you, you can definitely talk to your family members or friends to take a mock interview. That will be a great drill before going for the live interview. Mail communication is very important. Please make sure that whenever the HR is communicating with you on email, etc., you inform them, or even a WhatsApp or a phone. You inform them that I have reached to the location or I am there. I will take the interview now, etc. So please keep them informed. If you are getting late for any reason, please keep them informed, because if you are running late and you are not informing, that gives a really bad impression. Smile is the key here. Smile and confidence is something which you always carry entire life, I would say. But then at the time of interview, this really makes a huge difference. It changes the mindset of the interviewer, I would say. Be 100% sure on the job profile, which we spoke a lot in detail. If you know who is going to interview you, interviewers profile you can check on the Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta. Try to search at least and try to know the perspective of that person. That will give you a lot of understanding of how you really proceed further in the interview. And please be sure that on the logistics side, if you are going for a personal interview, same logistics side in terms of virtual interview is all your network, etc., are properly placed. You are well dressed, well placed without any noise and distractions, and then you are ready for the interview. Let's move on to the next slide. On the day of interview, some do's and don'ts. 15 minutes before scheduled time, please reach. If it is a virtual, please sit a place before 15 minutes and make sure that everything is connected well, properly done. If outstation, get extra pair of clothes. If you are going outstation for the interview, please make sure that you have an extra pair of clothes with you. Many times it happens, if you are not lucky or if you are unlucky because of that, if shirt or something is just rotten because of that, then you are in soup. Call or message if you are late. Smile and greet at the reception. Whoever you meet in the organization, this is the best thing to do it. A simple good morning makes a huge difference, because once you enter into the premises, think that you are being judged by everyone. Okay. Read when sitting in the waiting lounge. Please don't just do your mobile or chatting, etc. You can pick up the magazine or a newspaper wherever it is placed and just read through it. it will give you a good time for consoling yourself also and preparing yourself as well. Stay positive and confidence within. uh, Greet the panel or an interviewer, that is very important. Please just don't sit in the room when you are asked for. Whenever the interviewer comes, please greet them properly. Now the handshake is a remote chance, but at least don't offer a handshake before he offers you, because of the COVID situation. You don't know the policies the company is following. So in that case, you have to be very mindful about it. Calm and composed, don't be nervous, don't be hyper. Okay, because one person can really read your face very easily. Never say no to the water if it is offered, or a tea is if it is offered. Please say yes, because don't start with the no. That gives a very bad impression. First impression is the first introduction, and it is most crucial. We spoke of about it. Don't bluff. If you don't know something, please say that, sir, I don't know, but definitely I will be interested to know this further, and I will definitely Google out or search this after going out from the interview. Uh, Drive the discussion the way you want to. Now this is very important. This is something which not everyone has a I would say that uh, the tendency to drive the discussion, like if you have done something, then you need to talk about that in such a way that you don't pinpoint that particular thing, but still the other person has ask certain questions, and you can read the interviewer's mind, and you just how would I say that, you incline them to ask certain questions which you know better, and then that becomes a win situation for you, because you know something which is asked for now, and you are bang on the answers. Never ask for CTC to the interviewer. Never switch languages. Body language is very important. Straight. No certain this type of body language is really advisable. And never argue with the interviewer. If he's saying, then you should say that, okay, that should be the your viewpoint. My viewpoint is this. Still, I would love to think over your viewpoint as well. That's how amicably and balanced way you should always talk. At last, while the interview is getting through, etc., some teams to go for is your attitude, passion, and positive energy. That will make you pass the interview. And with that line, I want to close today's discussion in terms of the mindset for the job in Big Four is choose the job, don't let it choose you. So it is in your hand whether I should really choose the job, the job that I like the most, or the whatever job it comes, I accept it. So it's all in our hand if we do proper research on it, the way we have discussed. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much for the time, and hope this will be helpful for you, and wishing you a very successful and a best career growth in future.
Thank you so much, Jamin sir. Could you please let me know if I'm audible and visible?
I can hear you well. Yes.
And also I'm visible or not?
Yes, I can see you, but somehow I'm not able to expand my screen. Just
Oh, if you close the screen sharing, I guess it will be okay then.
But stop share. Okay, yeah, now it is there. Yes.
Cool. Yes. Thank you so much, Jamin sir, for guiding us regarding how to enter, survive, and grow in Big Fours particularly, and if also you guided about whether to go in industries or whether to go in the CA firms. So these are the decisions which are very difficult for newly qualified chartered accountants, and I appreciate your efforts in guiding them. Right. So thank you so much, Jamin sir, for being among us, for sparing your valuable time for this chartered accountants. And now I would like to request Bhishan Shah, Secretary of the branch, to present a vote of thanks to Jamin sir.
Sir, we at Ahmedabad branch of WRC of ICAI are very much thankful to you for sharing your views, experience, and sparing your valuable time in this mentorship program. I'm pretty sure that members, especially new members, are much more benefited with your experience, and it will also be useful guide for members at large. So once again, on behalf of Ahmedabad branch, from bottom of my heart, sir, we are thankful to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Jamin sir, and thank you so much, Bishan sir. And yes, Ahmedabad branch is always a step ahead for helping its students and its members. So see you soon in next episode of Margdarshika. Till then, have a good day. Bye. Yes, and thank you so much, Jamin sir.